On a good day, Boston is beers, pretzels in the park.
Common Ground Revisited is not a straight up adaptation. It is us taking the book and taking the stories in the book to tell the story of desegregation in Boston public schools, and then also ruminating on what that book means to this community, or several sets of communities that Boston engulfs.
But I guess it is a pretty good story.
Stories, it's 600 pages.
Did I lie?
It's history. I mean, all of this.
We're firm believers in storytelling. And the book tells a story, tells a certain story, and people make choices about this city and have thoughts about their lives in this city based on the narratives they've heard. And this book is a very important narrative. So to examine what that story is and look at other ways of telling that story in this moment, it's crucial to how we live our lives in this region.
Outside the state, busing defines this town.
Things have changed.
You know, busing defines this town.
So if you're telling my father, who's a 75-year-old doctor, and I say Common Ground, he goes, oh, I read that when I first moved to Boston. And I said, well, we're looking at it again from a lens of today. I'm looking about where is it's still true and where is it not true.
Yep. This book kicks off in 1968.
King's assassination tapped some secret well of feeling.
It's kind of about all of us. When I think of this piece specifically, yes, it's about the book, but it's also about how we fit into this kind of web of Boston, where we're placed in its history, where we're placed like in its story, and who the city serves, and who it doesn't.
It's a terrible moment for the country, Joan. It's two societies so far apart they can't reach out to one another.
Since this book has been written, it would be wonderful if we could say monumental changes had happened, but I don't believe that's true.
Dr. King is dead!
I think it's important for people in Boston to come and take a peek and not be like, oh, well, yep, that was part of the past. I wish that it was.
What they think they're doing. A lot of people have it rough, but you don't see them doing this. Politics, Billy. We use politics, and politics pays off.
Some of those decisions made, and some of the decisions we're making now, are things that I think our future generations may go, was that the best decision? Was that the most equitable practice? Who was missing in those rooms and those conversations, and how can we be empowered to move forward more united?
Now here's spreading the news!
There's the old adage that if you don't learn your history, you're doomed to repeat it. So to revisit a text like Common Ground and to put it in its proper context, understanding the city as it is now, and knowing what we know about these battles that continue to rage in the field of education, we could learn a lot from the missteps of the past.
Okay, I'm not a reporter, but you can ask any reporter who's been working Boston for years. This is the first thing they're told to read. One critic even called it the Bible.
I want people to come for a lot of reasons. Number one is it's been a long time in the making, this play. Kirsten and Melia have been working on it for a long time. They've been in touch with the families. They've been in touch with the writer's widow, and so they're making these direct connections with the people who are in the book. And it's just, I want to celebrate the fact that this long journey is finally coming to fruition, especially after 2.5 years of not doing theater, not being able to gather together.
After all that, I see hope. That is part of what we can take away.
Boston, it's your history. You come see it, engage in conversation with us. We know that there will be parts that you think should be there that aren't.
Yes,
right?
We do know this. We do know this.
So come see
parts that are there.
The parts that are there.
And then we invite you to have conversations about the whole breadth of the story of Boston integration, and also the whole book.
And I will say this piece features 12 of the best artists living in this area. So come see the brilliance that is the Boston theater scene on this stage, and join us in conversation about these difficult moments in Boston's history.